I had been posting for over 6 months and got almost no clients from it. And the clients I did get came from conversations I almost killed without realizing it. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 2 mistakes you are making right now in your DM inbox. And I'm going to help you spot them both in under a minute. And the problem is, you're not short on leads. You're just losing the warm ones. Because everyone says, get more leads, post more, just do better openers, just wrong. The problem is that you already have these people in the warm threads, in those conversations, ready to buy. You're just reading them wrong and then killing those conversations. And that's the exact leak that's happening. The first problem is that most coaches treat DMs identically. They chase the dead ones and they let the live ones, the leads who have great intentions, go cold, or they kill them because they're overthinking the reply, they're overthinking everything. So you have to stop reading every thread the same way and diagnose it properly so you know how to approach it without being weird, without being salesy, without fucking up the relationship with a potential client. So there are 2 signals on how you can actually judge conversations with clients in the DMs correctly. And it's the reply speed and the message length. And that's how you understand if it's a good fit or not. So basically, there's like 4 quadrants you can look at from. If it's a fast and long reply, they're trying to buy. So you have to be very proactive with that conversation because that prospect is dumping their heart out, they're replying fast, they're bought in. That usually means they're hot. They are usually very close to buying. If it's, for example, slow and short, they're already left. They're basically they're completely cold. You can just stop chasing them because you don't want to be this weird, desperate person. And then the 2 warm boxes, fast reply or short messages, or slow reply but long messages, it's definitely like there's some interest there. They're warm, so you need to just keep the conversation going, but just don't pitch right away. But if they're hot, that means you can go very quickly to the pitch to book a call or however you sell at the moment. And also if they're sending, for example, voice notes, that's definitely a point that they're definitely on the hotter side, that they're putting some effort in, that they trust you more. So what you can do right now is pause this video and open your last 10 threads, last 10 DM conversations, and actually tell them, like actually just check if they are in what quadrant they are in. Basically, I can guarantee you've got the hot lead right there that you're ignoring or you're not treating properly or approaching properly, and you've got probably a cold one that you might be chasing. So just check right now your threads and check if they're hot, like do you have hot leads, warm or cold. And also I have a tool in the description that you can just check now, press the link to help you diagnose this properly without, it's just in the link with the description. So if you found the warm one, now don't blow that situation. Because if you have read the temperature, you found a warm lead or a hot lead, good. Therefore, now you need to not kill it. And here's exactly how you can do that. For example, if you are writing a long reply to a short message, you're the needy one. So if they're sending just one small message and you're writing like a whole paragraph to them, that shows so much neediness. It shows like you're desperate. So what you need to make sure is that you're not having this crazy mismatch in the length in the messages, so it flows naturally. If they write short ones, you write short ones. If you write they write long ones, you can write longer ones. So you can just feel the conversation, you can see how it's been going, and then just go with the flow or just read the situation and just approach it properly. Of course, you can write a little longer ones just to keep the conversation going, like ask a follow-up question or something, but don't have this crazy mismatch in them. So you can just basically count the characters, count the words, and if yours are always longer, that's usually the leak, or much longer. Like, it's okay, it's a few characters, a few words, but just make sure that it's close in the length of the messaging, because that shows and makes them feel that you're not needy. Every context is different, so sometimes you might have to write longer ones for some other reason, handling objection or whatever, but usually you want to keep it around the same length. So also, what you're not doing is you're not convincing when you're going through these conversations, you're sorting. Because the long, needy message you're trying is basically just you convincing. You're trying to, like, there's this needy feeling. And the short messages is you just sorting the conversation. So you're basically approaching every single conversation with a different energy, and they feel that. They can see that through the conversation. So they trust you more. They like you more. They're more likely to keep the conversation going. And also, what you need to make sure you're doing is stop misreading the warm ones and stop drowning them in length. You just need to read the temperature, match the length, and that's the diagnosis to make sure that you're approaching every single conversation correctly instead of incorrectly. Because if you're needy, if you're approaching cold ones like you approach warm ones and vice versa, that just usually means that the conversation won't go the way you want it to go, usually. And then also, is something you're trying to do in every single conversation is that you're talking them about the why and the what, but not the how and the now. So you're basically diagnosing them in the conversation. You're basically approaching the conversation like a doctor would. You would not prescribe them the solution without knowing their situation. That's how they can ask ChatGPT for that fucking advice and get something bullshit. But you want to make sure that you know their whole picture, if they're a fit, if it's something you can help them with, and then diagnose them a proper solution to that, if that's your program or something else. So you need to make sure that you are figuring out the why they are where they are and what is happening to them, not how to fix it. Because you usually need to understand the why and the what, so the how, basically that's how the how becomes obvious. So what you can do right now is do the DM leak check, and it's in the description right now. It's one page, and you can sort the last 5 threads, or you can just run it as many times as you want, and the link is below. Then you can watch the constraint video, the same idea, but just level up to figure out, is the DM conversation that are happening right now the bottleneck keeping you stuck? And then if you want, you can join the free community in the description down below. Let me know how it goes. Check your DMs and start approaching them correctly.